Hello, we're in a new setting. All right, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Tori, aka Nostalgic Threads. I run a vintage business. I do upcycling. I used to sell on Depop a lot. I feel like that's how a lot of people know who I am. But yeah, this video is gonna be focused on my journey with Whatnot. I've been selling live on Whatnot for the past like 2.5 months. I've sold on there before, but this is like the first time I've done it consistently. And if I'm being honest, I think now is kind of like the time, at least for women sellers on the app. I think when I first started selling on Whatnot in 2021, it was more for like the t-shirt bros, and I feel like most of their audience was built around like reselling like Pokemon cards, collectibles, Funko Pops. The lane for like women's clothing wasn't really there yet. Yeah, so it was just kind of funny. I feel like when I first would go live on Whatnot, I mean, I did just sell t-shirts at the time, so it kind of worked, but then I was like selling to t-shirt bros, so it wasn't necessarily like the audience that I was trying to reach, if that makes sense. Not that like I don't want t-shirt bros money, it's just like, I think after reselling for, I guess, it hasn't even been that long, but I guess full-time reselling for like 4 years, I think to me, what I'm realizing with the growing popularity of vintage right now, I'm more focused on trying to find, I don't know, the people that appreciate it, because I think reselling is so personal now. Like everybody carefully curates their stuff. Okay, yeah, we're getting off on a tangent. But basically, if you wanted to come and watch this video, I just wanted to talk about my journey with Whatnot, my experience, and if you guys are interested in selling on the app. And in no way am I like an expert. I feel like this is just what I've observed from watching other people's lives and just seeing like what worked and didn't work for me. So yeah, just take everything for what it is. I think that's kind of like the beauty of where the reselling space is getting to right now, where there's so many different ways to do it. You can do flea market, you can have your own store, you can sell online with like Depop, eBay, Etsy. But for me, it has been refreshing and nice to be on this journey with Whatnot, because for me, I think it's just been nice to build a more intimate relationship with people. And because I think, you know, sometimes vintage with being so expensive, and then also with me entering into like the world of upcycling, I think there's just like this layer of wanting to be more personable with my customers, so they, I guess, understand all the work that goes into what I do and why I price things the way I do. And I think that's just been a nice conversation I've been able to have with people on Whatnot. Versus like when I go to a flea market, I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh my God, that's like expensive. And then it's just very like, it's just always kind of like a negative interaction. And I think even if people were like, oh, I don't know about that on Whatnot, at least they have always been more like understanding. And I think what I'm basically trying to say about the community on Whatnot is I just feel like everyone is a little bit more understanding. It's a lot like nicer. I just think about like the early days of Depop, of how it just had that like exciting community feel, and I kind of feel like that's kind of what's happening on Whatnot now. So yeah, I'm honestly like really grateful to be accepted to be selling on the app and to have been on this journey this summer. So thank you, Whatnot, for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you're looking to sell on Whatnot, you can use the link in my bio. I will put up one if you haven't shopped either. You can bookmark my show and you can get $15 off your first purchase. And then also, if you're interested in selling on the app, I'll also leave another link in my bio where you can use that to sign up, and it helps me out. And I just think one thing that people don't realize with reselling, at least for people that do it full time, you know, just like support the people that are doing it full time, because I feel like there has just been a lot of negative connotation about resellers over the years. And I feel like that's like a stigma I'm trying to like debunk with being on Whatnot, being on YouTube, because I think, you know, a lot of us are like afraid of exposing everything. And I think I just want to like do all of this to bring more understanding. Okay, we're going on a tangent. But when it comes to selling on Whatnot, I have like 3 main points that I just kind of want to drive home about why I wanted to work with Whatnot, why I think, you know, being on Whatnot is beneficial for your business in multiple ways. So I guess I just want to start out with, if you want to sell on Whatnot, I think a really great like combo to succeed is to use your social media marketing. And I think before, a lot of people weren't as into it, but I feel like now, you know, in order to like do business, I think a lot of vintage businesses need an Instagram account or a TikTok account now. And I think what's great, we're all able to like do our own free marketing. It's not how it used to be like in the 2000s where it's like you have to pay to get a commercial. Like, we all have our phone. We all have the ability to create our own marketing and making it personal to us. So with Whatnot, it kind of just makes everything tie in together. And I think what's cool about Whatnot is because they have so many different niches on the app. For example, I've been specifically working with @whatnot_wardrobe, which is the focus on the women's apparel. What people should take advantage of with, you know, all these accounts growing is making content to collaborate with people like this, whether you're tagging them or whatever. I think right now it's just getting exposure, you know. It's like one thing, you know, it's good to make your own content, you know, do your previews, do your hauls, do all that. But then I think for me, with going live on Whatnot every week and like getting into this habit of creating a preview reel for that live and then tagging them and then they share it, it just like opens up this whole new lane of exposure for me that I wasn't hitting before. And I think that's, I don't know, I think it's hard because I think a lot of people like to stay in their own world. It's not about social media. So it's like, I respect that side of things as well. I'm just telling you guys what works for me, and if you guys want to sell on Whatnot, and just what I've seen work and not work, and the benefits I've reaped from this process. But there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So I guess that's kind of like what I want to say before like diving all the way in. I don't want to say that I'm like right about everything. I just want to like share, you know, what's in my brain basically. All right, we got the matcha. I'm just saying, like, if you're a social media person in the reselling space, Whatnot is great for you just because it is such a visual app. Like, when you create a show, you're allowed to like have a preview video, you need to post a thumbnail for your live. It's all very like visual. So I feel like there's 2 different people on Whatnot. I feel like, you know, there's the people that are an influencer or they're a big brand and they already have like a big following. So I feel like for them, it's a little bit easier, you know what I mean? Because they already have that like cult following. And I think for somebody that's like me and under, I think there's like a little bit more marketing work that goes into it to get everybody to download the app and go to your live. So I think that's why I push social media marketing if you want to do Whatnot, because it is a mixture of getting people that's already on Whatnot to come to your live, and then I think it's a mixture of getting, you know, your own followers excited about the lives that you're doing. And I think that's how you're gonna get, you know, more people coming. And I think that's just what I think about like anything, whether you're selling on Depop, whether you're selling at a flea market. I think there is that like level of work, you know, self-promoting and also promoting whatever platform that you're selling through. I think that's like important. It's like that whole idea of building like this symbiotic relationship where apps like Whatnot and Depop need resellers that will like stay loyal to the app and, you know, continue to sell on there and support it, because without like that community of resellers, all these apps would be nothing, you know what I mean? So I think it is kind of important to build that relationship with whatever platform that you want to sell with. So for me, that was, you know, creating content and tagging Whatnot and Whatnot Wardrobe. And yeah, they might not share everything that you post, but I just think it's like having the consistency of showing up, and I think eventually, you know, it'll all come together. But I think that's just the one thing is like, if you want to sell on Whatnot, I think you just can't get discouraged by it. I think you just have to stay consistent. And I think people get overwhelmed by like building some creative concept to make your reel go viral. And I think that's obviously everyone's goal, right? On the internet to some extent. You it's not like you want your content to fail. You want your content to do well. But I think part of it now, just with there being so many, like it's just such a saturated market, like to be in social media and to be in the reselling space, that I think you just have to focus on staying consistent. Because I feel like I see so many people, go in and fall off. And I think right now with like the rising popularity of everything, stay consistent, post your reel every time before, because you never know what will happen. Sometimes, like people don't necessarily like come to that live that day and like buy everything, but they'll see the reel that I posted, or they'll see the YouTube video that I posted, and maybe they'll come to the next one and then they'll ask about it. So I think it's just kind of like, it's a slow build. It can be a slow build sometimes. So I guess that's like the words of encouragement I just want to give to people that are thinking about selling on Whatnot. And then, okay, so preparing for your live. I just think if some people do it differently, but this is like the tips that I've received from Whatnot themselves, and then also tips I've received from other sellers on the app, because going live can get a little overwhelming, especially if there's a lot of people in your live and there's a lot of like requests, people. Yeah, I feel like that is like the one thing that's overwhelming for it. So I think being prepared on your end as much as possible is like the best way to go about it. So I'll tell you how I prepare for my lives. So what I do is I like to set up either in my bedroom or just somewhere kind of private, somewhere controlled, because I think sometimes interacting with people online is a lot. So I just need to have this like controlled, calm environment so I can, handle all the questions and just things move really fast. So what I like to do is I'll have everything, listed in my shop. I try to preload everything in my shop as much as possible. And then what everyone at Whatnot has recommended is that you number all your listings, because honestly, when you go live and you're trying to find something on your phone, it's easier if you just number everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And then when people go and check out your shop, they can just say the number, and that makes it so much faster to pull it up while you're going live. So that's probably like the biggest tip. If you're gonna take anything from going live, definitely number your listings. I feel like, unless you only have like 10 listings in your live. But I'm somebody that usually has about like 60 to 100 listings in my live. Like I'll just put, basically when I go live on Whatnot, it's an extension of like my flea market / Depop shop. So yeah, having a preloaded shop helps, because you can go live and show all your pieces, but then it also gives like people the opportunity to like click in it while you're going live, and they can just see all the different things that you have. Because maybe at that moment they're not interested in the piece you're showing, but they like want to see everything else that you have. So that's why I recommend having a preloaded shop. People do it differently. Some people do mystery pulls. I think there's just like a lot of different tactics you can have on Whatnot. But I go live like once a week, so I just kind of like keep adding things to my shop. Like if I do a pop-up over the weekend, I have to make sure to update everything and delete all the things that sold. But this is just kind of like the easy way for me to do it. But what's also cool about Whatnot is that, like, let's say I didn't have time to list some of my new things. When I start my show, I usually spend the first like 10 minutes just showing like new things I picked up or whatever while I'm waiting for like more people to join. And yeah, if people are interested, you can do a quick ad. So you can like quickly add something into like while you're going live. So yeah, there's also that flexibility of like being able to handle organic requests or show your new stuff and add it and still be able to sell it. So yeah. But just to like make things easy, preloading your shop, numbering your listings. If you really want to be good, add size, add measurements, add as much detail in it as possible, because I just think like the more that you have in the listing when you go live, like the faster you can like move through things. Because I think that's the one thing that's good about Whatnot is like people have such a short attention span these days that I think when you are physically in front of them and engaging live, I think it helps to build this more personal connection with everybody that's joining your live. Versus like when you post something on Instagram, I feel like it takes a little bit more to draw people all the way in. Okay, titling your live. Also, I think having a good title is important along with a thumbnail. So for me, I've tried different things, but I think what works the best in terms of like a thumbnail is putting like the best products that you're about to show in the live as the thumbnail. So it's kind of just like, boom, you know what I mean? These are like this is how I'm gonna draw you in. And then I think my titles usually relate to like, I'll put either like new inventory if I'm gonna show a new haul, or if there's like a theme. One time I got a bunch of outerwear, so I labeled it as outerwear, even though I still had like other stuff in my shop. I think it's like at that moment, it's like this is the most of what I have, so that's what I want to like push, if that makes sense. Like one time I just did like a 90s t-shirt live. One time I did like an end of summer clear out where I did everything $10 and under. I think it is good to kind of think of different themes for each live instead of just like showing a bunch of stuff. So I definitely recommend that. If you have to only do one thing, because you have to do a thumbnail, your title, and there's like an option to have a video. Having a video does really help, but I would say if you have to pick between the two, just make sure your thumbnail is like enticing. And then also when I was going live on Whatnot, I saw a lot of people using the word like reruns. Don't use that. I've found that people like really don't click on those shows. I don't know why that became like a popular thing on Whatnot, but don't use that. Don't tell, like the thing about Whatnot is that I feel like there is enough people on the app now where it's like, even if you're gonna show the same thing again in the next live, like it might be a completely different set of people. And I think that's something that is cool about Whatnot now. Like I really do feel like that community has grown compared to when I was on it like 2 years ago. Every time I go live, I reach a new audience on there, which is I think kind of powerful, especially like I think it's like the blessing and the curse of the internet, where it's like it can be so big, but I think that's like why I'm on Whatnot, is because every time I go live, I'm able to kind of like reach new people quicker than I would in doing in-person pop-ups. And because in-person pop-ups is really dependent on who's local, who's gonna come through. And then I think when you're on the internet, I think you just have the ability to reach more people, which is a blessing and a curse. But I think for me right now, I feel like that is what I'm trying to do right now though. For me personally, like I'm really trying to find this new audience of people, because I have, built my audience through Depop. I've built my audience through the flea markets, and now it's just nice to like build this new audience through Whatnot. So I guess that's just kind of like my takeaway from working with them. Yeah, it's really personal. And I think with Whatnot, there's a lot of people that do their low starts from like $5 and under, which I definitely will do sales of like $1 to $10 starts. But then what I think is nice about the Whatnot community is that they also understand the value of some products. So like if I get like something that's a little bit nicer, like a Trip NYC skirt or a Custo Barcelona top or a Miss 60 thing, like I think there's just that level of like, okay, like I would like to start it at $1 for you guys, but as a business, like I can't afford to do that. I can't whatever, but I'll still give it to you for like a discounted price. Like instead of me doing it how I would do it at the market for like $60, I'll give it to you on Whatnot for $40. And for me, I'm willing to give a deal on Whatnot just because I'm able to sell more in a shorter amount of time. So for me, Whatnot is more about like moving through product quickly, and then also like making that more personal connection with people. I am way more willing to give somebody like a better price on an item if they're a loyal customer, if they like really like what I'm doing, etc., etc. But you know, if someone just like wants something to want it, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think that's like the thing about reselling right now. It's like very, very personal. And for me, it's like, I just want to make sure whatever things I pick up, because obviously I picked it up for a reason, you know, like I want to make sure it goes to the right home. So I think that's why I enjoy selling on Whatnot, because I'm able to have that personal connection to my customer. You can't necessarily have that selling on Depop. And that's just like the energy that I'm trying to like build with everybody on there. Yeah. And then I guess my last point about being on Whatnot is I feel like I am building that community, you know? I think in this world of like going viral or the internet, you know, I think there is that like loss of being more personal with people. And, you know, I'm grateful for everything I have built through my journey of Nostalgic Threads. But yeah, I'm just happy to have found this new level of like intimacy and building my community and like having people come to my Whatnot lives and like just be genuinely interested in me and what I'm doing. I hope that this video kind of helped. If you guys have more questions about selling on Whatnot or like specific questions, you know, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer. You know, I could even make this a series because I still plan on going live on Whatnot, maybe once a week or every other week, because I do enjoy having that connection with you guys on there. And yeah, I just love the community we've built on there, because one time it was so cute. Like I probably was live for maybe like 45 minutes, and then I felt like it was kind of like the vibes were dying out in terms of running the auctions. But then somebody was like, yeah, like I really want to see like some of your upcycling pieces. And that was just something that I think it's, for me personally, I think I just am very protective about that, because upcycling is like my art. It's not necessarily something I care to make a lot of money with right now. Like I'm in my experimental phase with designing stuff, and like I want to nurture my creativity right now, because I know I'm not like at the place where I want to be with it. But I think that was like a special moment on Whatnot where, you know, like it wasn't necessarily about selling everything. It was the fact that my captivated audience at the time like wanted to see the new things that I was working on. They were genuinely interested, and I just like haven't had that anywhere else on any other platform. So I know a lot of things are about the money to people, but I think sometimes to me it's about building these genuine connections. Like small businesses have longevity. You need to have your cult following. You have to have people that like really support you and believe in you. And I think that's just something that a lot of resellers need to consider. I feel like that's why I see a lot of resellers come and go in this world. I feel like it's the people that have built their community or stay super consistent are the ones that survive. So yeah. But yeah, thank you Whatnot for this journey this summer. It's been really fun. I feel like it has given me a new outlook on the reselling community. It's also given just me some hope that, you know, I can find like the right people within this space, especially as I evolve my business. Because yeah, Nostalgic Threads has taken a lot of turns throughout the years. If you watched till the end of the video, just want to say thank you for hearing me out. Yeah, leave some questions. I'll still be going live. So yeah, make sure to use my links down below to check out my Whatnot lives. I hope everyone has a great day. I have a lot of content coming up. We're just getting started with a lot of things right now. So stay tuned. Sometimes I don't know how to end these, so I'm just gonna end this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Make sure you like this video, give it a thumbs up, because that really helps me out. Make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.